Mayor, everyone else in the room, and a shout out to everybody out there on Facebook Live. At the conclusion of my comments, I'll be leaving 6 copies, one for each member of the council and one for the mayor, so that there need be no confusion at this or any future meeting as to what my comments were. 15 days ago, on August 19th, 2019, the Internal Revenue Service were notified about a tax avoidance scheme being conducted by West Windsor Township, whereby citizens are encouraged to claim false...
Excuse me, Mr. Hinsdale, we are having trouble hearing you. Is
the mic on?
Is the mic on?
It's on.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Maybe the mic's not off. Am I losing my time?
No, don't worry about your time. We just want to hear you.
It'll run to 2:40. I already checked it.
Okay.
I'm going to be leaving copies of my comments
Yes.
for council and mayor, so there's no confusion at this or any future meeting as to what my comments were. 15 days ago, on August 19, 2019, the Internal Revenue Service were notified about a tax avoidance scheme being conducted by West Windsor Township, whereby citizens are encouraged to claim false charitable tax deductions for donations used to procure capital equipment for the township. This scheme is being carried out by West Windsor Mayor Hima Marate and Council Member Virginia Manzari. Citizens interested in more information on this scheme, including the complete information received at the IRS, may obtain it from the township by lawfully requesting correspondence with Township Council on that topic, dated August 26th through 29th, 2019. Citizens concerned about having themselves claim an illegal tax deduction last April on their 2018 federal tax return for donations to the 2018 Mayor's Ball should be aware that the effects of such a deduction are easily reversed and undone by filing a simple 2-page 1040X amendment form with the IRS. In the interests of ethics and transparency, West Windsor citizens are entitled to know whether any of our current and prospective elected officials, who if not already so disclosed, benefited personally from deduction of contributions to the 2018 Mayor's Ball, 2018 state or federal tax returns. Those current and prospective officials are Mayor Marate, Council Members Manzari, Jeevers, and Miller, and prospective Council Members Mendel, Stevens, Gawas, Lin, and Wang. The other 2 current council members have already disclosed having claimed no such deduction. I look forward to the day when funding of the operations of my township is achieved by my elected officials levying taxes, then spending the revenue on what we need, like normal people. Where may I leave my copies, please?
Give it to the clerk.
Thank you. I'd like these to get to the council and the mayor's citizens.
How exactly do we indicate that we did not take such deduction? I mean, it's a negative.
Madam President, I want to comment.
Excuse me, I didn't go to the mayor's ball last time for various reasons, so I didn't...
Council members, I've had a chance to review Mr. Hinsdale's submittal to the IRS. As you know, a similar submittal was made to the Attorney General's office, was found to be without basis. As the township attorney, allegations were made in that submittal about the township. I've reviewed them, find no basis for them. So I just wanted to let everyone know he's welcome to make his allegations. As we lawyers like to say, anyone can sue anyone for anything. But with regard to those allegations, I did not see anything there that was actionable. But again, I don't know that I am not an IRS officer, so I can't speak to what they will say. But from a legal standpoint, I did not find anything actionable. And at this point, I would leave it at that and let a response come back from the IRS. I think it'll be similar to what the Attorney General's office stated.
Okay, thank you very much. I just was interested in accuracy. Mr. Mayor, would you like to say something?
This is just, it's sad that people can harass public figures and there's nothing you can do. And this is pure and simple harassment by Mr. Hinsdale, has been going on for quite some time. He filed exactly the same complaint with the State Attorney General's office, and the State Attorney General's office has thrown it out. So far I had completely ignored it, but now I'm going to start using taxpayer resources and engage the counselor to defend myself, because this has been going on for too long. baseless allegations are being made with no proof. Even when he was explained what the situation is, he continues to propagate the false story, and that is truly sad. And it's probably going to continue till November because elections are coming up. But this is really up to each individual voter and each individual community member to see if you want politics to be practiced in this way, and whether you want your township government also to go down to that low level just for the election's sake. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else want to make a public comment? Please?
Wait a minute.
She's got
Sorry.
a list.
The young lady from the Girl Scouts. I don't want to butcher your name. State your name.
Hi,
Your
we
address.
are 3 Girl Scouts doing our Silver Award project, and we're from Troop 70056. I'm Ekta.
I'm Adwiga.
And I'm Shreya.
You need to move very close to the microphone, otherwise people can't hear you.
We did a lot of research, and through this research, we realized the main problem is that although many people in our community do recycle, it is not always done correctly. The main problem is people are placing items that are non-recyclable in the recycling bin, which not only affects our local community, but just the environment in general.
So us as Girl Scouts decided to take it upon ourselves to try and aid the community by spreading awareness about this major problem. So we attended numerous events such as Community Day, National Night Out, Green Fest, and other local community events to explain what can and can't be recycled pretty much. At these events, we showed our poster and said, and just taught them about the need and importance of recycling. And we also created a video talking about what can and can't be recycled for those who could not attend our events.
So one of the major problems why people are not aware of the materials that can and cannot be recycled is a lack of awareness of what can. So what we did was a few mispointers are that plastic bags and bottle caps should not be put in the recycling bin. That's a major mishap that everyone seems to be doing, and it's good to know that if one non-recyclable material goes in that batch, the whole batch is ruined, which really could contaminate the whole batch, so it's not good. And only plastics 1 and 2 are capable of being recycled, and everything else in this township specifically is not, and that's something that it's really good to be aware of. So all in all, recycling is a very huge problem. It impacts our community in many different ways.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure your video will make a big difference to people, even if it makes a little difference. Thank you very much. It's important.
Mr. and Mrs. Woodward, sorry.
Hi, good evening. My name is Amy Woodward. I live at 262 Varsity Avenue. I would like to comment on the proposed redevelopment of the Penn's Neck area. We live directly next to the properties that are owned by the developer, and we will potentially be living in a construction zone for a long period of time. My family moved to this home 6 years ago. We chose to make this our home because of the neighborhood. Penn's Neck is a unique residential neighborhood with many families with young school-aged children, as well as residents who have lived here for many years. We have a number of concerns regarding the proposed development along Route 1 between Mather Avenue and Washington Road. First, my property will be directly affected by the proposed development as our house will be next to the construction. Currently, we're the third property in from Route 1. If the proposed development takes place, the one house between ours and Route 1 will be knocked down. We will lose all privacy from the trees and structures, and we will be directly exposed to Route 1 and the new construction. This could also potentially lower our property value. We will also be exposed to long hours each day of construction noise and dust through the ongoing process. Second, I'm extremely concerned about the duration of the construction period. The project can take many months to complete. We'll be inundated with traffic, noise, dust, and pollution as a result. There are other potential environmental hazards that go along with this project, including water pollution and carbon monoxide, which should also be considered as part of this redevelopment. Third, increased traffic will result from the redevelopment. The traffic between Alexander Road and Washington Road is already disastrous during rush hours, and there are many accidents that occur at the end of our road from people turning onto Varsity. In addition, there's the concern for increased traffic turning down Varsity to avoid the light at Washington, as well as increased traffic at the Washington Road and Route 1 circle. If a new business is placed at our corner, the volume of traffic will increase, and this is a major safety hazard for the children on our street, including my two sons, who walk to and from the bus stop, which is all the way at the corner of Varsity Avenue and Wilder Avenue. Cars already speed down our street when exiting Route 1, and there are no sidewalks that are present down the entire length of Varsity Avenue for the students to walk. Fourth, there is a concern as to what business or businesses will be brought in. If the businesses operate at late hours, there may be additional safety and security concerns for the neighborhood, as well as increased noise at night. And depending on the type of business, the placement of dumpsters, which will likely be on the back of their property, right adjacent to ours, will increase the presence of rodents. Having a business open during reasonable hours would be more suited to the neighborhood. While I'm not completely opposed to the redevelopment along Route 1, the concerns of the Penns Neck residents who will be directly affected need to be taken into consideration. I would like to propose that consideration be made to make Varsity Avenue a dead-end street with a cul-de-sac cutting off the entrance to Route 1, and the developer would need to provide a sufficient barrier that will maintain the aesthetics of the neighborhood while keeping it a quiet and safe residential area. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Ravel? Mr.? Ms.? No? Okay. Mr. O'Brien?
Yeah, he's going to introduce the issue, so you're
Sorry, we didn't know that we were signing in the order in which you would speak.
Huh?
I'm also here to speak about the Penns Neck development.
Can you please state your name and
Yes.
your address for the record?
Yes, Jerome Keeler, 252 Varsity Avenue. It's the fourth house off Route 1. I was at the planning board meeting of July 24th, where they approved a plan to recommend further recommending commercial development of 10 lots in the Penns Neck area. A representative from Burgess Associates, which West Windsor approved to investigate the land use element for this area, began with a recommendation that only the lots immediately off of Route 1 be developed. By the end of the meeting, the planning board had decided this would not provide enough space for commercial development. They ended up recommending the development as well of the first lot behind each of the Route 1 lots. These first lots are currently houses. Given their plan, from Route 1, the proposed commercial development would extend into our neighborhood by more than the length of a football field. This is not a favorable turn of events for the Mather Varsity neighborhood. In the past month, I've spoken to 18 residents, and those are just the people who would answer the door, in the first block of Mather and Varsity, meaning the first block off of Route 1. I've spoken to several people who've lived in this neighborhood for over 30 years, and one woman who's lived there for 76 years. I assure you I speak for all of us when I say that we don't live in the neighborhood because we like living by Route 1. You could say just the opposite. We live here because although it is off of Route 1, it doesn't feel like Route 1. In this unique neighborhood, there are no condos or apartment complexes. There are freestanding houses, some older, some newer, including several with a property value of well over $500,000. In short, when you think about continuing to consider the development of this neighborhood commercially, we'd like to encourage you not to think in the same way you'd think if you were deciding whether to consider another Starbucks in Market Fair or a TGI Fridays in Mercer Mall. Those of us in the neighborhood are not sure we can stop this development, though I would like to say that I wish they had further considered the Burgess proposal to only develop the first lots off of Route 1. As things stand now, here's the situation. 3 families will have to move out of the neighborhood, losing their houses. 3 other families, one of whom just spoke, will be living right by a long period of construction. It won't be a pleasant situation. All these families have multiple children. After they've endured over a year of construction, will they be looking out the sides of their houses through pine trees at a PNC Bank, or will they be looking over a wall at a Wawa? This is a huge difference, one that will surely impact property values and the quality of life for our neighbors and our whole neighborhood. I'll tell you that under the assumption of typical Route 1 businesses, we have 14 of 18 people who signed my petition who are strongly opposed to this project in that form. We hope that, as the previous speaker said, if there has to be any development, there will be a cul-de-sac put in. Without that, it will be a disaster. Second, we'd ask you to give further consideration of the traffic situation. Finn will speak about that.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Finn O'Brien. I live at 241 Varsity Avenue in the same neighborhood that we are already talking about. My goal here is to highlight some of the practical issues regarding the traffic that's going to be impacted by this proposed development. First, I want to talk about some current issues. Already, for anybody who's been through this space, you know well that there's heavy traffic in the circle, often causing congestion and backups beyond Alexander Road overpass on the northbound side. Large trucks using the circle often impede traffic flow in this space, causing delays of multiple light cycles for anybody trying to travel through that circle. There's already significant issues of turning onto Route 1 north from Varsity Avenue due to backups along the right-hand side here with the Alexander Road merge onto Route 1 north and traffic that's passing through, and anybody trying to turn right onto Washington Road. So this is already an extremely congested area, extremely congested circle. That's as it exists today. And that information has already spawned a plan to try and redevelop this circle that has been kicked down the road for years and years of creating an overpass, underpass situation. So this is a clear existing problem. With the construction changes being proposed with the Penn's Neck development, we're looking at what I've heard, possible expansion of 4 lanes for Route 1 on either direction. I don't know how that would shift things here, but that's going to add speed possibly to this situation. Let's see. It's going to require a larger circle, potentially. That's one of the proposals that I heard, but frankly, it needs to be addressed through the traffic solutions that had already been talked about for this circle that have been delayed and not accepted. Let's see. All right, so with the new construction, Amy has already talked about potential traffic issues within the neighborhood, and a cul-de-sac would help deal with that. But we're talking about now merging traffic that's going to be here, the existing merging traffic, and people trying to turn into this lane to get into the circle and to turn right onto Washington Road or to proceed on to Princeton. Now we're also going to be trying to get into this development. So we're going to have further congestion here with traffic trying to cross each other, getting in and out of this space. There's going to be increased truck traffic to serve these businesses. So we already have an issue with traffic flow through the circle due to large trucks trying to pass through the circle, and now there are going to be additional trucks to serve these businesses. The circle traffic is going to be further slowed, trying to accommodate customers flowing in and out of the circle, trying to reach various destinations depending on which paths they have to get in and out of the space. We're going to have additional congestion along Washington Road with people trying to cross over into it or exit from this space. So all of these construction issues, all the potential for this is going to increase, or it's going to increase the problem of traffic.
Thank you.
Guy Pearson? Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Guy Pearson, 241 Fisher Place. I have 3 concerns. One is the safety of Penn's Neck. I understand there was a break-in with alarms sounding in our neighborhoods over the weekend. We want to know if this is an everyday occurrence. Is this isolated? What are we being doing? Is there more patrols in our neighborhood? As we are right off of Route 1, which is quick exit and a super highway, so to speak, to get criminals in and out without being caught. Second of all, on the upcoming closure of Alexander Road, as a resident of Fisher Place, which is heavily traveled right now by people circumventing the circle, I want to know what traffic calming methods that the police department and Public Works and the administration is planning to put in place. We have, at one time I did a study, there was about 400 cars per hour on our street during the rush hour. And I'm afraid that this will just increase with turnarounds, with people, making U-turns in people's driveway. And with the information I just heard from my neighbors on the other side of Washington Road, this is even a greatest concern to us. And that goes into this, a lot of this situation with the traffic would have been alleviated if we had done and do the Millstone bypass, that is, as it is in our master plan. So I think we need to go back and review that and see why we can't go forward with that. And thirdly, I got information that they're planning to do a redo of the Route 64 highway, which is the Princeton Junction Bridge. I understand there's a pending meeting on concepts of replacing that bridge. How's that going to affect West Windsor? How's that going to affect Penn's Neck? What's it going to be? I think this is all information that we as residents should know. There's a major development that was just in the Ellsworth Center. I think we need to be all brought up to speed on what these things are going to be happening in the township. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Hoberman.
I have to admit, guys stole a little bit of my thunder. Are you ready? Is West Windsor ready?
Can you?
Oh, Curtis Hoberman, 175 Washington Road.
Thank
you. Are you ready? Is West Windsor ready? It's going to happen very soon, in about 2 months. On November 6th, 2019, Alexander Road at the Princeton-West Windsor border will close down for bridge repairs over both the Delaware and Raritan Canal and the Stony Brook. This closure, according to the NJDOT announcement, should continue until April 20th, 2020. And the announcement says in all caps, all work scheduled is weather dependent. We know what that means. Are we ready for the onslaught of vehicles trying to use the Penn's Neck Circle to get into Princeton? How much additional time does one need to plan for a trip into Princeton during this period of repairs? Increased traffic flows at the Circle will happen on both northbound and southbound sides of US Route 1 and on both sides of Washington Road. The overflow of the impact will affect residential streets of Penn's Neck in a scenario similar to the failed New Jersey Department of Transportation experiment in 2012 to eliminate the jug-handle turns at the Penn's Neck Circle. We don't want to have this happen again. Can we explore methods and ways so drivers do not use Varsity Avenue and Fisher Place as shortcuts, and these drivers will probably not be traveling at the posted speed limit? Can there be information given in the region to encourage drivers from the south to use Quaker Road, Princeton Pike, and US Route 206 to enter Princeton, and similarly from the north to use Raymond Road and State Route 27? This is more than a West Windsor problem. It is my hope that the Township of West Windsor can work with the municipality of Princeton, with Mercer County, and with the State Department of Transportation to deal well with this issue. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No, I have no one else signed up.
Is there someone who wants to? Kathy?
Hi, Kathy Brennan, 1 Courtney Drive. I was at the planning board meeting that these people from the Penn's Neck neighborhood were speaking about, and I was a little surprised that they added the 2 properties after posting the Burgess report online, I think it was. In fact, I just tried looking it up on the website and I couldn't. And the thing that, as a citizen and redevelopment, that bothers me is that it wasn't really available to the public. They added to the plan that was out in the public. So really, the plan should have been reissued and reintroduced so the neighborhood would know more about it, adding these 2 additional properties. Because it was discussed in the planning board meeting, and then they added the 2 other properties by the urging of, I think, the property owners. And I just thought that the residents should have had more of a heads up than this just going through, and maybe it should have been revisited, and they should have been notified that 2 more properties were being added to the redevelopment. So that's what I have to say.
My understanding is a hearing to do a study. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So again, just so everyone understands, this wasn't designating it. It was just to do a study, and that's what the planning board is recommending. So really, it's just telling their professionals to look at the area is it an area in need of redevelopment, and should further proceedings occur?
Yes, I think we have the planning board chair here who can speak about what the planning board decided. Would you?
Jim, did you hear the comment?
You okay, Allison?
Yeah, I'm okay. Just ignore it.
What do you want me to say? I mean, I'll answer questions. The comment that Kathy just, first Gene O'Brien, 13 Green Drive, and Planning Board Chairman. The comment that Kathy just made, the material that we were presented going into the meeting, we, the Planning Board, did show a total of 10 lots under consideration. So the area that the Planning Board recommended be considered for redevelopment was all included in the original set of paperwork that was received by the board. I'm not sure to which Ms. Brennan is referring, but what we received and what we evaluated was a total of 10 blocks. Now, our planning consultant recognized or recommended that I believe 4 specific blocks be included for redevelopment, but we felt it was prudent to add the second 5 lots behind the first 5 lots adjoining Route 1 so that there would be a buffer between properties in the third row, such as the lady who spoke earlier. What other questions could I answer?
No, that's the clarification, that all 10 lots that were specified were already, I mean, we didn't include any
We didn't add
lots,
anything.
we didn't add anything that was not on the plan.
You're saying we because you're also a member of the planning board. For anyone who
Yeah, I
doesn't
just
know.
wanted you to confirm that as a
Mr.
chair.
Chairman, what was the formal procedure you took? Was it asking them to study it further for redevelopment, or was it for redevelopment?
No, we recommended that the item come back to the governing body for its consideration, with all 10 lots being included. And mostly the other second set of 5 lots eastward from Route 1 were added, so there would be buffering. There were multiple board members who made comments to that effect.
I was at that planning board meeting, and I remember that, and I remember that people were concerned about the buffering, not just from Route 1, but of course, from the neighborhood. And the Burgess report requested rezoning of those lots that were not in the area in need of redevelopment. And I remember that the planning board felt that if you're going to do it, you should do it all.
I don't remember the specific discussion about rezoning, and obviously I don't have my files with me tonight, but I think that we should do what is prudent to make sure that the proposed commercial development is consistent with our zoning in that area. And that would be 10 lots.
Mr. O'Brien, will that buffer area have trees and?
I think it's too preliminary, Virginia,
Yeah,
about that.
I think, having been on the planning board many years, not always consecutively, that buffering has always been a big concern of the planning board, and the planning board certainly spends a lot of time at meetings, particularly when site plans come in, to address the neighbors' concerns. There's always a lot of construction going on around town. Look at Route 571, next to Rite Aid there. There's 2 big lots that are under construction. The Ellsworth property is under construction. All that noise, traffic, dust does impact residents and other businesses that are in the area. Times for construction, it's beginning and end. It's not, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. kind of thing. It's not. There's certain things that are put in writing and contracts. And and I feel that there will be plenty of opportunity for the residents, in your area, in Penns Neck, to perhaps meet with some staff members, go over certain concerns that they have. For example, if you want to make, a Varsity Place a cul-de-sac, what can be done? Things like that, because we do work with the contractors to make improvements.
Yeah,
to the area, too.
I should think
So-
if you refer this back to the planning board to create a redevelopment plan, that certainly would be a consideration. I already made a note of the comment that was made by somebody in
right.
the audience.
Right, so there's many legitimate concerns, and our residents just need an avenue to be heard, so that
One
should
last
this move
thought.
forward, it's be more
Excuse me, Mayor. The comment about doing something to the bridge over the railroad tracks, New Jersey Route 64, I've heard of nothing about a replacement of that bridge.
I'm coming.
Okay. I'll resume my seat. If you have any more questions, I'll come up.
I have a lot of questions to answer. First, let me start by, all the points you raised, all concerns you raised are very valid, and we are very aware of that. This gives us an opportunity to fix it. And being in the redevelopment area gives us more flexibility and more planning tool to fix it. I mean, one option that was openly discussed is making Fisher Place a cul-de-sac. I mean, that will prevent all traffic coming in and going to Route 1. But that's only going to happen if there's no fixed plan on the agenda yet. This is just a permission to declare it as a redevelopment area. If the council does give permission tonight, before any plan is done, you will have plenty of opportunities to make comments, make suggestions, and nothing is being rammed down any of those 10 properties. I mean, 5 of those properties have been owned by one developer. I mean, he has been trying to buy them for a number of years. So the whole point is to make that area look better, make your neighborhood look better, and to improve your quality of life, not to deprove your...
And Mr. Mayor, I'm just pulling up the July 24 agenda from the planning board, and it shows that there are the 10 properties, Block 38, lots 1, 2, 3, 25, and 45, Block 39, lots 4, 5, 7, 16, and 27. So nothing was added on.
Nothing was added.
You had the first 5, as the chairman spoke about, and then you had the second 5. And this is all pursuant to a resolution that was done here by our council, 2019-R090. And again, this is for a preliminary investigation by Burgess Associates.
Right. So, I mean, all your concerns are valid, we have heard it, and you will have plenty of opportunity to make comments before any plan is finalized. And there will be plenty of meetings, planning board meetings, meetings with professionals, and we can arrange meetings in your own neighborhood before anything is finalized. So the whole attempt is to make your neighborhood look more beautiful than it is now. So that's to your concern. And nothing, no specific plan is on the board yet, so therefore can't comment on that.
Yeah, I know there's always a fear of like a super Wawa or a Quick Check or that farm's place going in that spot, but I can tell you that those kinds of developers want large pieces of property, and from what I could see here, I don't see that working there.
Yeah, and I also think that the process that you go through, designating an area in need of redevelopment, all the way to site plans or concept plans takes years in general. This isn't something that's going to happen in 6 months. It's a long process and a very public process, and we appreciate the comments that we heard tonight, and we will, at some other point, more formal get-together at some point with the residents, the administration, to document all your concerns, and that will happen.
And as the mayor said, it just gives the township more control over what goes into those properties.
Right.
So I think that the members of the public should be happy that the township will have more control than exists out there at the present day.
Yeah.
I apologize, one more thing. Also, anything that occurs out there will need state DOT permission as well. And to get those permits these days, especially along Route 1, is a heavy lift.
That is true. And every detail that you talked about, the access, the trees existing, that would be put in the zoning so that the developer could not make your properties right against the wall or right against the property. But we're not at that stage yet. The stage now is to send it back to the planning board. They will develop zoning, they will talk to you, and then the zoning will come back to us, and we'll have a public hearing on that, and we have to vote on it. And then, and only then, can the developer look at it and say, okay, can I do something with this? So I think that this could be very positive for your neighborhood.
Can I answer the other three questions that came up? I mean, just to make one point, the 5 properties were added because that gives us more chance to build a buffer. With just 5 properties, it's not tougher to build a buffer. So we are very much aware of that. 3 other comments were made about a recent robbery in that place. I mean, the chief is sitting back there. He can tell you that thankfully it's a rare occasion, a rare occurrence in West Windsor, not too much. The police are on top of it. You can talk to him. I don't want to say anything in public, but they are on top of it and they investigated it very thoroughly. Regarding the Alexander Road Bridge, we have been in discussion with both Princeton and DOT. We have said no to few things that were not necessarily in West Windsor's interest, so we will continue to monitor that. They are going to have a public meeting sometime in September, and we will advertise it heavily. That they'll have one meeting probably here and one meeting probably in Princeton. And I really hope there are 2 bridges being replaced, one by the state, one by the county. So I hope both work overtime and finish it sooner. I never understand why they work only 5 days a week for such an important input. So we are very much aware. We will hold a public hearing. And Route 64 bridge, that is also very recent. We will also hold a public hearing. We are holding a preliminary meeting with the agency to understand what exactly that involves. So again, we won't do anything before public hearing, but these are the projects that we can't say no to. We just have to work with them to minimize the impact on everybody concerned in the township. So we will hold public hearing for both those meetings.
I just want to remind you that they had a meeting about these bridge closings, and there were several people from West Windsor there, including our planning board chair and me, and our township engineer, and every one of us separately said, don't do what you did before. Don't try and make it impossible to turn left from Route 1 south into Princeton. Don't do that. And we all told horror stories about trucks making U-turns on people's lawns. So they know from all of us that that would be unacceptable. But I do think that everybody should add 15 to 20 minutes to their commute during those 6 months. Is there anyone else who wants to say anything else at this time? Okay, well, administration comments, please?
Yes, I have 2. The first is that Public Works is in Zone 1 collecting yard debris and yard waste. Residents in that zone are asked that once the trucks have collected the debris and the material, that they not put any more out curbside. We are getting complaints from residents about their neighbors who are in violation of the township ordinance, and we'll be taking these matters very seriously. And on Wednesday, September 11th, is the September 11th Remembrance Memorial Service for those that lost their lives over in New York City. It will be at 7 p.m. at Ron Rogers Arboretum.
Thank you. Mayor?
I hope everybody had a good summer. The schools are opening tomorrow, so be careful driving. A lot of kids on the street and a lot of buses, and the police are going to enforce traffic rules very strictly.
Council member comments. Virginia?
I just wanted to remind everyone that on Sunday, September 15th, the Parking Authority is going to be sponsoring the food truck festival at 11 a.m., and they've got a lot of good food trucks coming with a variety of different foods. It all looks really good, and I know that's a big party every year, and so I hope a lot of residents come out for that.
Thank you. Linda?
Picking up on Ms. Schmidt's comments, I continue to get complaints that people are putting out their leaf and brush the next day or a few days later after the trucks have gone through your neighborhood. I mean, most people, that has probably happened. They know some of the neighbors do this. I don't know whether they're not looking at the website, 'cause the municipal website tells you the dates. They're not marking their calendars, they don't care, they just don't know, whatever. But I know myself, and I'm sure other council members get the complaints, and then we have to go to the administration, and there's this long process. So I'm thinking one idea is like when we have potholes, you go to the municipal website, you can click on and let the administration know, or the DPW know where the pothole is, and they can fix it. Maybe if we have a place where you can click on and let the administration know about these violations so they can be addressed, because there's a lot of people who get very angry over this and feel it's not right, it's not fair. And what would then happen is the administration sends out someone, they give the homeowner a warning. That warning says you got 5 days to remove your leaf and brush. And if you don't comply, then one of our administrators goes out and a municipal summons for you to appear before a judge is issued. So we don't want that to happen, and we're trying to find a way to fix this problem of people putting out leaf and brush not on their weeks. And you can put it out 1 week before your regularly scheduled pickup, but too many people are doing it whenever they want, the other few weeks. So try to look at the webpage and get the correct timing for the pickup in your neighborhood. WWP schools are opening this Thursday, so just be mindful. You're going to be seeing a lot more kids either walking, riding their bikes, even coming home as late as 6:30, 7 o'clock from sports activities. So just take it slow and know that they're out there. And I just wish to say good luck to all our students with the new school year. With Hurricane Dorian moving up the East Coast, should you, on the weekends, maybe go to the beach, go swimming, just be careful of the rip tides. I was in Spring Lake this weekend on Sunday, and unfortunately, a young boy from Ewing got caught in a rip tide. His sister was caught in the rip tide too, and they were able to rescue her, but the boy has not been found. So, just be careful, especially when you get these hurricanes and the rip tides. You don't always realize that they're there, but they're very, very dangerous. So my thanks certainly to all the EMS workers that were on the scene and state police and all. So they tried. And that's it.
Thank you. YC?
First of all, I do want to echo Linda's point. There are responsible and concerned citizens writing to us about the issue. I think this is probably one thing we can all help all the residents, and we can post on maybe social media, which is a good use for that, I think, and write letter to the editors and things like that nature. So I think I would encourage all the residents to speak up and, educate ourselves, our neighbors, and try to keep our town clean. So that's one thing I want to echo, Linda. On the personal note, I've been traveling extensively for the last couple of weeks, enjoying some leisure time as well as work. Now the summer is over, we're back to work, and students back to school. I sent my 3 children back to colleges last weekend, but otherwise, all is good. Thank you.
Thank you. Of course, I thank Linda for her good idea of having someplace that people can go specifically on the township website to talk about brush put out at the wrong time. It really is a nuisance, and many, many people are writing to us, talking to us, complaining to us. So it's something that we should really address. The other thing is, this year, we did not have garbage pickup on Labor Day, but people whose garbage were supposed to be picked up on Monday were picked up on Tuesday. Well, it's Tuesday, and as of the time that I left for here, they hadn't gotten to my garbage yet. So I sure hope.
You're getting it Thursday, I think. If you're on Monday, I believe that you're not
No,
going to get
no,
it
no.
to the second time this week, right? Isn't that how it works?
The way it
But
works.
if your normal day is Monday, they also have to do Monday and Tuesday today, so they're probably behind.
It's just,
It's different. It's still-
they are behind, but previously, in other years, what has happened was they skipped Monday completely, took it the following Thursday, and then went back to once a week the following Monday.
That's what they do.
That's what
it is.
Yeah, no, we're carefully told that's not what
No, I
they
thought that's what
are
I
going to
read.
do. So anyway, I hope that they do get to my garbage before Thursday, because
Well, let me check.
it was, we were specifically told there would be a change. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Gay, do you have anything to add?
The only thing I have to add is tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, I will be opening up the 2 bids that we received for the liquor license, and as soon as I know the amounts, we will let the mayor and the council know.
Thank you. We're now up to public hearings.
Okay, 2925, an ordinance to establish a salary and wage plan for the Township of West Windsor and provide for the administration thereof, of supervisory.
Okay, we want to open the public hearing for this. Does anyone have something to say? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
YZ second.
Oh, I didn't hear it, sorry. Jeevers?
Yes.
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Okay, then do I have a motion to adopt?
So moved.
Second.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Okay. Consent agenda.
2019 R-180, authorizing the appointment of a student member of the Human Relations Council, term to expire December 31st, 2020. 2019 R-181, authorizing the refund of permit fees for 4 Poplar Court, closed session of July 29th, 2019, business session of July 29th, 2019, bills and claims.
Anybody want to take anything away from the consent agenda? Seeing none, do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Jeevers?
Yes.
Manzara?
Yes.
Zhang?
Yes.
Miller?
Yes. Okay, recommendations from administration.
2019 R-182, granting the release of the cash performance bond for street opening permit 2018-18 to Holtz Plumbing LLC for 198 Mather Avenue. 2019 R-183, authorizing the business administrator to purchase from CDW Government through the New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Program computer supplies for the Police Division, $5,000. 2019 R-184, authorizing the business administrator to purchase through the Middlesex Regional Education Services Commission Co-op 1 conventional chassis from Campbell Freightliner LLC for $123,575.78. 2019 R-185, authorizing the business administrator to purchase through the Middlesex Regional Education Services Commission Co-op 1 new Cobra Magnum rear loader from Environmental Equipment for $71,825. 2019 R-186, authorizing the business administrator to purchase through the Middlesex Regional Education Services Commission Co-op 1 Timberman aerial lift body from Timberman Equipment, $158,635.25. 2019 R-187, authorizing the business administrator to purchase through the Middlesex Regional Education Services Commission Co-op 1 conventional chassis from Campbell Freightliner for $84,344.19.
2019 R-188, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute a developer's agreement with Woodstone at West Windsor LLC, PB 17-08. 2019 R-189, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute an amendment to the easement for the storm drain for the development known as Woodstone at West Windsor LLC, PB 1708. 2019 R-190, authorizing the mayor and clerk to execute an agreement with the Communication Workers of America, Local 1032, from January 1, 2019 through December 31st, 2020. 2019 R-191, designating Block 38, Lots 1, 2, 3, 25, and 45, and Block 39, Lots 4, 5, 7, 16, and 27, as an area in need of redevelopment, and directing the West Windsor Planning Board to prepare a redevelopment plan for the redevelopment area and submit same to the Township Council.
Okay, I think you made a mistake. It was the R-190 goes through 2022.
Sorry. Good, I thought I said.
Just for the
Yep.
record. Does anybody want to vote on any of these items separately?
Should we do the union collective bargaining agreement separately?
Yes.
Yes.
You
Yeah,
did.
I mean, we often do that, just, so I would pull that just for a separate vote. So no, I have no objection to that.
Okay, then would we like to vote on R-182 through 189 plus 191?
So moved.
Second.
Jeevers.
Yes.
Manzara.
Yes.
Zhang.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Do we have a vote for 190?
Yeah, motion to approve 2019 R-190.
Second.
Jeevers.
Yes.
Manzara.
Yes.
Zhang.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes. Introduction of ordinances.
2019-26, an ordinance to establish a salary and wage plan for the Township of West Windsor and provide for the administration thereof. This covers the CWA contract that you just approved.
Do I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Jeevers.
Yes.
Manzara.
Yes.
Zhang.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Public hearing will be September 16th, 2019.
Additional public comment. Would anyone like to say something? Guy?
Guy Pearson, 241 Fisher Place. Two issues. The Girl Scouts spoke tonight about the recycling. You see in our local newspaper, there's a page and a half, 2 pages on recycling. Unfortunately, when it all comes down to it, it seems to be money that drives it, because if we're not making enough money, then they're going to not do recycling anymore. Some municipalities already have stopped recycling, but it seems like it's finance-driven. With that environmental issue, we are approaching that Route 1 bypass, and there's not money for the Penns Neck bypass. Isn't that an environmental issue when we have traffic standing on Route 1? We can't stop but more than 15 seconds at a convenience store, or you're subject to fine. Why then is it all right to be held up in traffic for minutes, if not hours, and in this case, 20 more minutes, without it being an environmental issue? So let's try to maybe establish and get some environmental relief for the development and the monies to help ease Penns Neck bypass.
Amen.
Thank you. That's a very good point.
I mean, we back up traffic. We have one side saying one, and then we have when staying hours in traffic. And then two, I noticed my neighbors over here in Varsity, redevelopment area, and you increase the properties in a redevelopment area. Were they residential, were they commercial? And every time we increase a residential area as a blight area or a redevelopment, that always trickles down to now we have to apply some type of more affordable housing. So as we increase the footprint of what's redevelopment area, then we always get into a problem and somebody sues us and gets more residential housing based on that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Sir, we have a settlement with the courts for affordable housing through 2025, and the activity you just described is called a builder's remedy. We are absolved from any threat of a builder's remedy coming to us before 2025.
And
So were ever any residential houses rezoned commercial or
No,
area?
no, not that I'm aware. The mayor or council can answer that.
Mr. Chairman, if you just identify yourself for the record again.
Gene O'Brien, 13 Green Drive.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do not think that a redevelopment area of this lack of magnitude will add to our affordable housing obligation starting in 2025. I think that whatever we get then will be based on demographics throughout the state of New Jersey, and it'll trickle down to us.
Madam President,
Yes.
as you recall reading Judge Jacobson's decision in the affordable housing matter, she took, as you said, demographics into account and put them up against various formulas that were presented by both eConsult and the Planner for Fair Share Housing. So yes, you are correct.
But we will, of course, have to see what happens then.
Hopefully, I would think after that decision, given how it's being used throughout the state, I would think it would be followed that even then.
Then we can be quite easy on putting up some more commercial ratables for us that will make our residential areas, I know it doesn't really feel that way to people who live there, who will be right next to it. We will make sure that they have lots of
buffering
of things between your house and their commercial, so that it is not some horrible thing. And maybe being able to walk to commercial will be an advantage. We can only hope.
Well, I certainly hope whoever's governor or whoever is in the state legislature come 2025 is actually going to look at the COA and the formulas and give guidance instead of having this process go through the courts.
Yes,
And the judges writing, the laws essentially, making these decisions.
The judges in all of their decisions begged the judiciary, I'm sorry, begged the legislature and the governor to get back into that business, but until they do, it will be in the courts.
It's going to take probably some new leadership for that to happen, but that's very important.
Well, there's been new leadership that didn't do it, and then there was new leadership before that didn't do it, so I'm not holding my breath. But I hope that somebody makes this process sane.
It's become the third rail of New Jersey politics.
Yes.
Yeah, well.
Anyway.
If I may just add one last comment, I would encourage the resident to keep involved. Thank you for coming out and voice your concerns. I think this is the process. It's the beginning, but obviously it'll take some time. But thank you again for showing up and expressing your opinions, concerns.
It reminds us how much the planning board has to do in making the zoning work. Administration updates?
I have one announcement. Effective Monday, September 9th, Waste Management goes to once-a-week trash collection schedule.
Did we skip council reports?
Yeah. You have a council report?
Nancy.
Okay.
I can wait.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so I met with our public safety officials and had a little bit of information I wanted to share. Both the police department and EMS have seen an increase in special population calls. Those are anything involving some type of mental or physical health issue. EMS calls have also increased over the last 3 or 4 months for our senior population in town. There's an upward trend there due to the population increasing in age. We recently had some of our members of the fire department train in arson school, so now they have state and federal certification, and they are now teaming up with the police department to more actively investigate fires that occur in West Windsor. And finally, as was mentioned before, schools are open, and the West Windsor Police Department have put out additional officers to combat aggressive driving. And officers have been told to actively look for and ticket around town, particularly at crosswalks where there are school buses, and they're also looking for people who are speeding in town. So please drive safe, follow all motor vehicle laws, and that includes pulling over for emergency vehicles and stopping for school buses, whether they have the yellow lights flashing or the red lights flashing. Please stop for the school buses. There are children on those buses, and we don't want to have a tragedy occur in town. So please be safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Wisey?
Because of my traveling, I missed one environmental commission meeting and one school board meeting. On the environmental commission, my understanding is they were talking about one-time usage plastic bag banning ordinance, potentially introducing such a ordinance. I don't know, Alison, maybe you handled the meeting.
I think they will take that up again at their next environmental commission meeting.
Yeah, but that's it from me. Thank you.
Linda?
The planning board met on August 21st and finished its review of use proposals for inclusion in the new land use elements of the master plan. It's my understanding October 3rd, 7 o'clock, there'll be a continuation of the celebrations application before the zoning board. This will be their third meeting. It's a very large, all affordable unit project, so.
I think a lot of people will want to be there.
Yeah, it was full house, first two meetings.
And there'll be full house the next time.
Yes.
I have nothing. The committees I'm on haven't met. Anything more, Mr. Mayor?
Nothing more.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We're adjourned.